Shabbat Shalom.
So while we may not necessarily be outside for Shabbat services like the past, um, we still can treat it like summer services. So, today I went ahead and said, all right, time for the Shabbat whites. So those of you who either consciously or unconsciously did that, awesome. What are the Shabbat whites? Well, one of the things I like to do during the summer especially, maybe I should just do it all the time, I don't know, is to wear white on Shabbat, because that wonderful idea that it's beginning of this wonderful time of rest and of our own time, letting go of everything else, kind of like brushing off all the stuff from the rest of the week. So that way we can just be nice and clean and clear for Shabbat. And also the tradition comes from Tzfat, which is a northern town in Israel, where Lecha Dodi was actually written, where the people would dress in white for Shabbat, and then they would go out, on the mountaintops there overlooking this beautiful valley, and they would welcome Shabbat, and they would say, Boi Kala, come, O bride. And so, of course, the bride, would be wearing white. But not always, by the way. Because other cultures, in different times, by the way, even in our own history, the bride would be wearing different colors. But just this whole idea of how can we make Shabbat different? So I was actually wearing a whole other shirt. I wasn't wearing white all day. I was wearing a different shirt today. And there was this great transition, this wonderful moment where I was like, oh, it's time for services, and I grabbed my bag, and I went and I changed my shirt, and I went, it's Shabbat. All right, everything else is done, and if you know what, and actually, a lot of it's not done, but shh, don't tell anybody. But that's okay, because I can put it aside. I can put it aside for these next 24 hours. And so I invite you, whether you're wearing white or not, brush off everything from the week, let it all go. Exactly. Bring in Shabbat, and just breathe and be in this wonderful moment together. Olam Chesed Yevadeh, our opening song.
Yai, 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 Olam Chesed Yibaneh, a world of mercy and peace may we build. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, in the night, 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 I will build this world from love. I will build this world from love. In the night, and you will build this world from love. And you will build this world from love. In the night, and if we build this world from love, and if we build this world from love, in the night, then God will build this world from love. Then God will build this world from love. In the night, Olam chesed yibane, Olam chesed yibane, Olam chesed yibane, Olam chesed yibane,
So our world is filled with all of the love and all of the beauty and everything that each and every one of us bring, the gifts that we all bring. And each and every one of us brings so many beautiful gifts to our world to continue that beautiful tradition and that creation. We are a part of creation. And so the beauty also is the beauty that we find of love and companionship and of family. And so tonight we celebrate with a young couple. A young couple who are celebrating an anniversary, a very special anniversary. An anniversary of 55 years. And they bring with them one of the fruits of their beautiful labor, Stephanie, so their granddaughter, just one of their grandchildren. So I'm going to invite Rita and Dan and Stephanie. If you all will come and join us over here for our lighting of our Shabbat lights and Kiddush, page 3. Page 3, yes. Would you please read the that'd be great. We would do. Okay, that would make a nice long voice.
As we Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, and so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Beautiful. So now we're going to light our lights. So Dan and Rita. Okay, Dan. We just push down and press. That's it. Oh. There we go. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like touching the back. So we'll join together with the bracha, page 2. I don't know. Yeah, I was following you. Should we go again? Okay, cool. Enter.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehavdiner shel Shabbat.
So I don't know if yours was the east side. So we're going to move to the west side. So there we go. Stephanie, I'm going to invite you to hold up the Kiddush cup. No, you can't be yet, sweetheart. You're the only one who's wearing the purple that, for the fruit of the vine. Exactly, and also we don't want the two of you to sell because you're the nervous bride and groom. And he's wearing white, exactly. Oh, you are too, exactly. See, so we give the responsibility to granddaughter. How's that for a switch? There you go. As we turn to page 5, we join together with our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei bari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishal b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu צבאנו, בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה ולראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
You are truly the sweetness that fills your grandparents' cups and your parents' all of our cups. You are truly that sweetness. So, not okay, so Stephanie, you can do come here. Thank you, Stephanie. She's soon to be taller than me. You have your favorite heels. So tonight, how beautiful, especially with the candles and with kibbush, to share in this wonderful anniversary for both of you. And yes, while the candles remind us of the two times that the commandments are recited in Torah, that we should remember and observe Shabbat, they can also truly remind us of the two of you, and the light that you bring to our world, but especially the light that you bring to each other's lives. And with kibbush, that sweetness. That, yes, I know that there are days where maybe that sweetness is not always as there, right? Okay. Yeah. That's the worst. But you know what? But it's always there. It's always right under that. But more times than not, there's such sweetness and joy in your lives. It wouldn't be 55 years if there wasn't. So how appropriate right now to bless the two of you. Right now, as we have lit our Shabbat lights, as we have tasted the sweetness of Shabbat with kiddush and sanctification, then we get to offer this for you. Yishaberach Avotenu V'Imotenu Abraham V'Sarai V'Yitzchak V'Rivka Yaakov Leah Rachel. May God who bless our people through the ages bless both of you who have come here to this place to celebrate this wonderful anniversary of 55 years. May your lives be filled with gratefulness for all the gifts that enrich you, for family, for friends, for the wisdom of our tradition, for all the sweetness that overflows our cups, and for the strength to meet adversity with courage.
May we be blessed with lives of health and happiness, lives crowned with deeds of goodness and deeds of love. May each of your days be filled with the joy of life that has blessed both of you and your family, and may you always find these moments to laugh and dance and sing together.
As we join together, as we get to sing to you, and even with you if you want to join along, of course, with words of Shehechianu, which we thank God for giving us life, giving you life, for sustaining you and all of us, and for enabling all of us to reach this wonderful moment together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
together. Len, thank you so much. Our hosts and hostess for this Shabbat, thank you both so very much for being here. We are so honored by your presence, but especially honored to be in this wonderful space, and we are grateful, truly grateful. So, on this Shabbat, let us prepare ourselves. Maya Feh Hayom, how beautiful is this day, truly. Page 10.
Maya Feh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Feh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Feh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Feh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Every now and then we just need a little extra help, a little extra support in our week and in our days. And sometimes that support that we feel comes out of nowhere, but it comes from somewhere. The angels of peace that watch over us and every now and then touch our lives, we welcome them, we ask them, come, O angels of peace, join us on this Shabbat, that we too may feel your presence and be able to then share that peace and that love together, not only amongst each other, but throughout the entire world. Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashamet, Malachei Elyon. Nihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Achuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Gamad yirach lehutev yalik malchuteh. B'chayechol uvyom b'chol uchayetechu beit Yisrael.
Bagala, bagala, b'zman karev.
V'yimaru.
Amen. Yehi Shmira v'mevorach, le'olam le'amoya, Yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, הארץ רומם להינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתעלה שמי לקדושה. לעילה ממך ברכתה ושירתה, ושמחתה ונחמתה, דוד רבמה ונגור.
Amen. So rise for Baruch Hu, page 28.
Ya la
La la la la la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMenorah.
Top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season lie. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and life. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven stands to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Haravi.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael. Torah u'mitzvot u'mishmati otanu limadeta Akein Adonai Eloheinu v'shomenu v'chumeinu nasiya v'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam v'amen. Ki en hayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeyomam v'layla negeyomam v'layla. Ve'avatcha tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Israel. Ohevanu Shema
Please be seated as we continue on the top of page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
Page 39, the top. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40.
מי כמוך האלי אדוני מי כמוך נדם בקודש נורא תהילות Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Muslim children cross the sea, When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? B'diham bocham ba'elim, Adonai. B'diham bocham ne'edav b'kodesh. Dora Tehi Lord,
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'taknenu be'emitza tova nefanecha, v'hoshi'enu lema'an shemecha. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu, v'al amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'kolei yonei, Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'kolei yonei, Onei Shabbat. Aham mekadeshei shvi, Aham mekadeshei shvi, Shabbat kulam yizlehu, Ve'yitanghu b'tuvecha Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'kolei yonei, Onei Shabbat. Ve'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, Chendat yamim, Oto karata Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'kolei yonei, Onei Shabbat. Zecher Lemase Bereshit, Zecher Lemase Bereshit, V'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'kolei yonei, Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'kolei yonei,
Yeah, that's joyful. Olay. You know, whatever gets us dancing, it's a good thing. And what will now get us dancing and up to our feet, of course, is Amida. So please, I invite you to rise on page 46. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Tehillah Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehillah Ufi Yagid Tehillah Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehillah Ufi Yagid Tehillah
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hadorah El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Haseavot Ve'imahot, Umevid Yehuda Livnei Bneihem, Legma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atzara Le'Moshiach Mori Hatzav Mechaye Achayim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Sohomer Noflim Verofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato B'Shenei Afar Michamot Abad Gevurot U'Mitomerah Melech Memit Umechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua B'nehemah Hatzadach Hayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Where might I go to find you, exalted, hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you, please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, shodcha levavcha b'yir'ah na'avod. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו לעולם ועד. סור חיינו מגן נשענו אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך נספר תהילתך על חיינו המסורים בידיך ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך המרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך. ועל כולם יתברך ויתרומם שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד. בכל החיים ירדוך סלע, יעללו את שמך באמת. האל ישועתנו ועזרתנו סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך אותך נאה להודות. We praise you, Adonai, your name is goodness and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Shalom Am Yisrael Amucha Tasim Olam. Shalom Am Yisrael Amucha Tasim Olam. Ki atahu melech hador v'kol hashalom. Ki atahu melech hador v'kol hashalom. Shalom Racham Yisrael Amucha Tasim Olam. Shalom Racham Yisrael Amucha Tasim Olam. Tov b'lecha levanet et amcha Yisrael כחוננו בראשם בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים Shalom Rabba Yisrael Tassim Leolam Tassim Leolam Tassim Leolam.
So last week's Torah portion had in it the words from Moses, when Miriam was stricken with the leprosy, with the scales, and Moses said to God, El na refana la, God, please heal her. But it wasn't those words that healed her. It didn't actually. It didn't heal her. The healing had to come from something else, and that's something that we can do in a Torah study at another time. But what was the purpose of these words for Moses? To say, El na refana la, please God, heal her. It's not to say that these moments of Mishaberach right now, it's not to have this idea that we're going to recite this prayer and we're going to think about all of those who are in need of healing and poof, it's going to happen. That God is going to cause the healing. That's not how Mishaberach works. Here's how Mishaberach works. It allows us the moment to say, asking for healing, but asking, what can we do? What actions can we take to help somebody along a road of recovery, of healing, of mind, of body, of spirit? What can we do for ourselves? Because so often too, we ourselves are in need of healing. So we're not asking God through this prayer, El na refana la, El na refana lo, to ask God to heal him or her. Rather, we're saying, God, give us the strength to take action, to reach out, to hold, to embrace. Help us bring healing. That's what we think about during this time of Mishaberach. So we think about all of those who are in need of healing. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Tonight, as we are going to in a moment join in our singing of Mishaberach, there has been a name on Mishaberach for a very long time that unfortunately we remove. Andrew Knopf of blessed memory. Ellen Knopf's son, 44 years old. Now, we don't have answers about what's happened yet, and we probably won't for days. But what we do know is we can say, God, give us the strength to help bring some healing and love to Ellen and to her whole family and to all of those who embraced her. Help us, God, to give her some healing. But the loss of a child, I don't know if that wound will ever be fully healed. I don't think it will be. But I think what it will be is it will be held together by her friends, by her community, who will hold her and care for her. El na refana la, God, help us bring her some healing. Help us bring healing and to do something for all of those in our lives who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. And so I invite you to take into your hearts right now, into your minds, all of those, family and friends, acquaintances, or maybe even the person you saw on the side of the street who you don't know who is in need of healing. And take them into your heart as we offer this prayer of healing, that we can take action and bring love and bring shalom. And may this be our blessing. Amen.
Ishebera Avotenu B'Kol Avraham Leimotenu May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen. Nisherebera Imotenu Kol Avraham Bless those in need of healing with the wash the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Baron, we pray for you, for healing, loss of a father, who we will say Kaddish for later. May God grant you, but may we also bring healing to you and to your family. We take moments now for silent meditation.
Oh, say shalom Yerubah, yase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imlu amen. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'achol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'achol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So this past week, I had the pleasure of spending it in Cincinnati. I know you guys are going, what? That's a pleasure? It is a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Go Buckeyes. There you go. It is a pleasure to be in Cincinnati. Okay, come on, what's the TV show there? WKRP in Cincinnati. Yeah, that tower's still there. So, now, some might think it's not such a blessing, but I do. It really is a blessing. It's a blessing on a couple of different, ways. First of all, Mark Twain says about Cincinnati, when the world comes to an end, I want to be in Cincinnati. It'll take 10 years to catch up. And they say that it still is that way. So, but there's many things I love about the city. I love Grater's ice cream. Yeah, I did that 3 times actually out of the 5 days. It was awesome. Different flavors. I was good. I expanded my horizons. The green landscape. Oh my gosh, when you fly in, you cannot imagine how much green there is and different hues. Spectacular. The people. It is, after all, almost the South. I mean, it's right down the Mason-Dixon line. So the people are just so wonderful and so nice and sweeter than pie. And yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and please. Please is, by the way, if they don't understand what you're saying, please, instead of, excuse me, it's please. Yeah, take a while. It's awesome. The architecture. And did I mention Grater's ice cream? It's awesome. But what I really love about Cincinnati is that it is the home of my alma mater, of the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. And, and it was there that Isaac Mayer Weiss began the Hebrew Union College in 1875, establishing a seminary to train rabbis, Reform rabbis, which would later be training also other Reform clergy like our cantors. Okay, you went to New York. That's fine. I won't have it anyway. But that's fine. But educators, Jewish professionals. But he was not only the founder of the school, he also established the Reform movement. He established the Union of American Hebrew Congregations in 1873, and he established in 1889 the organization that would support rabbis, the Central Conference of American Rabbis, also known as the CCAR. So far you now have HUCJIR, UAHC, which by the way is now URJ, CCAR, Cantor's a part of the ACC, we have NATE, NATE, we have NADA, I won't confuse you with all of those things. Let's just say there's a lot of good things that came out of Cincinnati. Now there was even a brief time, by the way, that Rabbi Isaac Mayer Weiss was the president of all 3 organizations, of HUC, CCAR, and the UAHC. I guess it's good to be the founder of all the organizations because you can be the president of all 3 at the exact same time. He did that for a period of time. Now, Rabbi Weiss actually did not found the temple that we call Plum Street or Wise Temple. It's Kehillah Kedosha B'nai Yeshurun. Now, one of the things that threw me off actually when I moved to Cincinnati and I'd see the synagogues is that they would start off, it was KK B'nai Yeshurun, KK, whatever Rockdale was in there, but it had a KK and that always it would be very jarring. But it stood for Kehillah Kedosha, a holy congregation. Oh, okay, I guess that was just the tradition then to do that. So he actually didn't step into Kehillah Kedosha B'nai Yeshurun until 13 years after it was established. But when he did, he took it to an entirely different level. The community who established the congregation were looking to have stronger connections to their German roots, which is where Isaac Mayer Weiss was from. And they established themselves in 1840, but in 1853 they were ready for a brand new vision. They needed new energy by Rabbi Weiss. And within only 5 years, he grew the congregation to a membership of over 220 families. That was huge then. So huge that that was considered to be the second largest congregation in the United States at that time. Now it's through his work that the Reform movement was established and continues to grow. And it was this weekend that I was very fortunate to sit in what we call Plum Street Temple. Why? Why is it named that? Because it's on Plum Street, exactly. The synagogue that Rabbi Weiss, you're laughing This is the synagogue that Rabbi Weiss helped to build in 1866. It was finally inaugurated then, dedicated in 1866 after the Civil War. And it was this weekend that we inaugurated the 12th, only 12 in that period of time, the 12th president of the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, Rabbi Aaron Pankin. Now, I have to admit, I had goosebumps sitting in that sanctuary, sitting in the same space where I was ordained 16 years ago. Stared at the amazing architecture, the beautiful painting that is done on the walls and the ceilings. If you have never seen it before, you should, or at least look it up on the internet to see it. It's absolutely spectacular. The floors are actually the original floors. So of course, what does my head do? I'm sitting here staring at the floors and thinking about who stood on these floors before me. I mean, what an awesome thought. Such a historical place. The pews are the original pews. I'm not totally sure they've ever reupholstered them, however. They were a little hard after a while. I hope that they have. But how awesome to think about who sat here before me. All of these amazing people who have passed into this space before. Well, Rabbi Pankin, during that afternoon of his inauguration, reminded us of our history, of our journey of being immigrants, and then into integration into our new home, and into now individualization of it all. So I want to share with you some of the words that he shared with us that day, and I invite you to go to the HUC website and to read his entire remarks, because they really are amazing and thoughtful. So Rabbi Pankin, he says to us, during the 1800s and early 1900s, in a departure of Abrahamic proportions, most of our forebears left their homes in Europe, set off for America to join the small number of Jews who had come here earlier, seeking the promised land. Perceived by some to be the new Zion. Economic need, the quest for religious freedom and safety from persecution, and the compelling lure of new opportunities combined to lead young and old to set off to make their fortunes. From Ellis Island and Galveston, Baltimore, Boston, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, millions of these Jewish immigrants fanned out across the country, driving their humble pushcarts into unknown territory and establishing Jewish communities in places where they had never existed before. It was in these heady days of immigration that so many of our key Jewish organizations, congregations, and institutions of education, this one included, came into existence. Immigration led to an ambitious age of creation. New synagogues abounded, as did Jewish organizations that worked for the education, welfare, and protection of both new arrivals and long-time citizens. Rabbi Pankin then noted out the ability for us to integrate into the American landscape when he said, as this integration continued, those centripetal forces that had kept us together began to weaken, and centrifugal forces came into play. American Jews were now free to branch out, living wherever they chose, taking up any profession, joining different political parties, participating in almost any club, rising to positions of prominence in a broad array of cultural, educational, government, and business organizations, and making choices in marriage and religious practice as they pleased. With this shift, the pull toward the center of the Jewish community changed radically. With less influence from those forces that once held our community together, we live in a world of ultimate choice. And this constitutes the third phase of North American Jewish life, individualization. In it, all is ultimately left up to the choices of each individual, left up to the choices each individual makes within a vast range of possibilities. We are now denizens of a world brimming over with choice. Consider two examples. Once, when one went to buy milk in a grocery store, there were 3 choices: regular milk, 2%, and skim. Now, step into any supermarket and you will be, as I am, baffled to see the variety that is available. Organic versus non-organic, Lactaid versus regular, Parmalat that promises the shelf life of Methuselah. Loved that line, that was brilliant. For those of you who don't know what that is, there's this milk, especially in Israel, that you get, it's in a box. It's not in the refrigerator. It's on a shelf. Yeah, and then it can last forever until you open it. Yeah, we won't go there. Anyway, soy milk and almond milk and rice milk in all their varieties. Non-GMO milk, and on and on. An enormous number of choices now go into even the simple act of buying milk. Once there was one giant phone company called AT&T, but now we consider dozens of choices when we seek phone service. Landline or wireless, smartphone or not, VoIP or Fios, Verizon, Sprint, AT&T or other small brands, cable or fiber optic, limited or unlimited minutes, international long distance or not, bundled with television and internet with hotspots, or perhaps not, and so on. Boy, we have a lot of choices in our lives. So what do we decide? We peruse the shrill and biased reviews that all disagree with one another, and we try to make sense of all our many, many options. This trend applies everywhere, from books and entertainment to the news we watch and read, to what one does with one's body and spouse and gender and family and friends. And Reform Judaism has often referred to itself with a kind of quick and imperfect shorthand as the movement of choice through knowledge. This means that to make thoughtful, authentic decisions, one must certainly have knowledge, but that the application of this knowledge to the contemporary situation is ultimately mediated by each individual's relationship with his or her community. The goal is to incorporate Jewish knowledge, provided by our tradition as it has developed over the centuries, into the daily process of deciding how to live one's life. He went on to talk about vision for the college, vision for the Reform movement, because HUCJIR is so integrated into the URJ, the full movement. Together, all these pieces, we are constantly asking ourselves this question about who we are, where we came from, our immigration, our integration into society as a whole, and then also wanting so desperately to hold on to our individualization as well. These are beautiful intricacies of our future. Our work isn't done. In helping explore and give the many tools needed to ensure the future of the Jewish people, we have a lot of work to do before us. Each of us, we all bring our own traditions. We all come from different places. We are all immigrants. We've immigrated either from different countries or different communities into the places where we now live. We all have to work together to ensure the future of Judaism and not assume that somebody else is going to do it for us. We're all invested in this together, because if we're not, then we can't exist. No one else is going to take up the mantle and keep Judaism alive if we ourselves are not willing to do so. As Reformed Jews, we are firmly rooted in tradition, yet we are very aware of our role in making the world a better place for all through Tikkun Olam. We're egalitarian. We're inclusive. We accept patrilineal descent. We welcome the LGBTQ as partners in our community, and we are comfortable in dialogue with everyone on both sides of the aisle. We want to be a voice in the world, community, and especially in issues regarding Israel. And as our next president of the institution that trains our leaders of our reform movement reminded us, our movement, the reform movement, is invested in training leaders to be the partners and the voices for not only religious practice, but moments that affect us every single day. That we provide the information to speak about issues about gun violence, issues about immigration, issues about the environment, and so much more. That we speak about them with clarity, with understanding of our tradition, but especially for the practical use of today. The Jewish world is better because of the commitment of our movement, of our institutions, and all of us who work to make not only Reform Judaism, but Judaism stronger for us and our future. Yes, this was truly an historic event to share in. And I was honored to be a part of not only the inauguration, but the discussions and the study that took place before and after. We are Reform Jews. There is no ED on the end, because we are far from being done. Yes, Reform Judaism looks very different today than how it looked when Rabbi Isaac Mayer Weiss began his journey in 1853. And while I would like to think, or hate to think actually, while I would think that he might actually be rolling over in his grave if he saw both men and women on the bima at Plum Street, even with guitar, I watched that. They were up on the pulpit. They had guitar up there with this inauguration. And by the way, it was the first time in Plum Street's history that they had guitar on the bima itself. They had guitar at services, but it was always kept off the bima. This was the first time in its history. A colleague reminded me now, Rabbi Weiss would not be rolling over in his grave. He'd be smiling. He'd be smiling because he would see that his work continues. We continue to reform Judaism, to be stronger, to be more vibrant, to be more connected to our text, our traditions, and viewing it for the future. Because it's not only for today, it's for generations to come. So now we must continue this work, for we cannot wait for someone else to do it for us. This work, it belongs to you and to me, to all of us. And this work is our blessing. Amen. Speaking of some good work, we have a wonderful board member with us from our board of directors, Kathy Cohen. If you will come share some announcements of things going on over the next few weeks, months, years, I don't know. I'll let you go on as far as you want. Shabbat shalom, Kathy.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Just to outline some things in the program, Camp Shalom and Camp Katan, there is still some room and still time to sign up. So if you have grandchildren, great-grandchildren, children that could enjoy a wonderful time this summer, the program runs from June 30th to August 15th. So please give Marla a call in the office or sign up on the website. Also, this summer we have Rabbi Tanel visiting again. Excellent. There are several things he's involved with this summer as well, also in your program. And mitzvah meals, we're still continuing to feed an additional 100 families each week, each Sunday, and would enjoy your contributions there. There's an outline of things that are needed on the program as well. And mitzvah of the month, adopt a social worker. They are gathering summer items, beach towels, beach toys, sandals, sunglasses, and the ever important sunscreen. So please, if you could help us out with that as well. We are more anxious than ever to help out there. And the hiking group, TBS is starting a hiking group, walking group. This is Saturday, June 21st, Corona Del Mar. Also details in your program there. And Sarah's gift shop is still open. Just give her a call. Her number's on the program as well. Sarah, thank you so much for continuing your program. Even though you don't have an actual store, everything's still available. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
And in regard to the mitzvah of the month, please feel free, bring your items here when you come for Shabbat services, and we'll take them back over to TBS. So I don't know if you have it yet, but we will. We'll have a container of some sort. But even if we don't, just bring it. We'll make sure that it gets over to TBS. I know sometimes people go, how do I make 2 trips? You don't have to. We'll make it easy for you. We conclude our services now. Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 282. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצא בראשית, שלא עשה גילוי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו בהם, וגורלנו ככל העולם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall those who are no longer with us, yet we hold them in our hearts with our own. Those who recently departed, Rabbi Chaim Asa, and also we remember Sarah Wolf, mother of Artie Malo, and John Zitney, father of Baron Zitney. We remember also those whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat and during the coming week. Benjamin Adler, Gussie Adler, Howard Burnham, Ann Cherson, Linda Chess, Don DeVore, Ed DeVore, Jean Dubofsky, Nathan Feinberg, Simon L. Francis, Jack Matatiya Hasson, Stephanie Susan Holloway, Morris Holtzman, Pearl Jacobs, Israel Kaufman, Richard Levine, Lillian Lipschultz, Edith Loesch, Raphael Margolin, Keva Miller, Alex Neamton, Julius Rosen, Marjorie Roth, Barry Rubenstein, David Sachs, Rebecca Sherman, Marshall P. Soslovsky, Neil Allen Weinstein. If there's anyone here who's in the period of mourning Shiva Shloshim Shana, who is observing a yahrzeit of a loved one whose name I have not called, I invite you as I face in your direction, please share their names with us.
Alan Goodman and David Powell.
For all of them and for all those who have given their lives, I'll Kiddush Hashem for the sanctification of God's holy name. For all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. For all those also whose lives are tragically taken from them way too soon. We take them into our hearts with our own. Kaddish Yatom, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, v'yamad divrei chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei jechol Beit Yisrael, b'gala v'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba m'borach le'elam l'omei omayah, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yipa'ar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei, Kudashah, Brichu, Le'elam, Yikol, Birchata, V'shirata, שהושבחת מנחמתה, תאמירה מעלמה אמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say together, amen. So before we close, we always have to have a little fun. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret, but you can't tell anybody that I told you the secret. But you know, when there's a simcha, I have a hard time keeping that secret. So don't tell them I told you. But it's an anniversary today for Marcy and Paul. Yeah, I really stink at keeping that secret, dear. And so, 4 years, Mazal Tov. So happy. You don't have to come up, you just have to hold the challah with me and join me in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, v'te'avo. But nobody tell them I told you, okay? You saw nothing. But Rita, how's your catching arm? You can see the more blessings come not only from our hands, but also from God on high. There you go. All right, so I'll do this over here. You can come and pass out. Okay, so those are join together with your arms around somebody next to you. If you don't know who they are, stay with them. If you're standing alone, don't. Sit. Do trouble Jesus.
Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava.
Blessed for you and coming in this place of worship, no matter from how many miles apart, and also help us. May we go forward now to Shabbat of health and of happiness and of peace, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.